Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're going to start rebuilding the condo we've been working on. In the previous episode was the initial walkthrough and demo. So if you haven't watched that, I'll leave a link down below. Go catch that episode first, and then it'll catch you up to where we are now. Basically, we pulled everything out that we needed to come out, got the whole bathroom, ripped out the carpet, pulled all the baseboard, pulled all the chair rail, and we were also prepping to skim the ceilings. We had two main goals for this week. One was to get all the mudding done, including skimming all the ceilings and having them sanded and ready for the crown molding to go up, which I'll show you in a second, and getting all the flooring in place so that I could start the baseboards and get the bathroom furniture in place. Jobs like this where you don't have a lot of room to work, even though the client has not moved in yet, when you have vanity, countertops, trim, buckets, everything all over the place, it sucks moving it around more than once. So you have to work in an efficient way to get that stuff up and installed so it's out of your way, you're not moving it 1,000 times. The less you move stuff, the better. Last episode, I asked you guys to guess what I found in the wall when I pulled out the medicine cabinet. The answer is a Labatt's old school stubby beer bottle that was probably left there when the initial construction was done on this building 40 years ago. Today's episode's question is, how many buckets of mud do you think it took to skim all these ceilings? Leave a comment down below. Once we got a few coats of mud on the drywall, we were able to sand the perimeter by hand the first foot or so we can install our crown molding, and I want to show you that right now. This is the crown molding that we used. It is by a company called Condo or Trim Rock here in Canada. What's cool about this is it's different from most crown moldings. I don't know if you can see this. It is a styrofoam based material, and it has a thin layer of plaster at the front for the profile, and this stuff goes up. What's cool about the Trim Rock moldings is they are a stable material. They will not expand as much with heat and cooling as other products like MDF and wood products do, and so it won't expand and contract at the same rate as other products do. But also what's cool is this goes up. You use your spreader of mud and you put mud on both sides and you stick it up. You use regular mud, spread it on either side, and you stick it up on the wall, and you're able to just scrape the X, squeeze it in place, use a few brads if you have to hold it, and then you squeeze the excess mud out and you can sponge off anything that gets on the wall, and within an hour or so it's dry and won't move, and it gives it this seamless look that you won't get with other styles of crown molding. Since it's a drywall wall, a drywall ceiling, drywall to the wall, and this is also made of a plaster material, it looks so seamless when this is painted the same as the ceiling. I don't know how else to explain it. It just looks, I guess the word I'm trying to find is more authentic. It looks more like a true plaster crown molding compared to an MDF product or pine. They also do, the same company does tons of products. They do outdoor siding, coffered ceiling pieces, trims, everything. It's all this kind of foam-based products. Some of them are covered with like a concrete covering, and these ones are covered with a plaster, depending on the application, but a super cool product. After the crown molding was up, we were able to sand the rest of the rooms. We caved. It sucks sanding a ceiling by hand, so we tried to rent a machine. No one rents them anymore, so we ended up buying a drywall sander off of Amazon. Hooks right up to the vacuum. It's variable speed. It's just like a big orbital sander. The only difference is I kind of wish this one came with the lights, so it was easier to see what you were doing, but other than that, it worked great. Once the crown moldings were up, ceilings and walls are ready for paint, I tackled the bedroom floor. It was a luxury vinyl floor from Tosca. Got a close match the original floor to the rest of the condo, which worked out great. We used an approved foam underlayment underneath it. It's a thicker, denser foam underlayment that helps with soundproofing and moisture resistance. This is the flooring we typically go with. It's by Tosca, and that's the color. Once the flooring was done in the bedroom in the master closet, I immediately covered it with paper. The next day we tackled the tile in the front hallway in the bathroom. It was the same tile. It is a 24 by 24 porcelain. We did the Schluter orange uncoupling membrane right on top of the concrete. We love using this product. I'm sure if you watch any reno shows in the past decade, you've seen it used. It's that orange uncoupling. It's that orange product. Mortar it down, smooth it down, and you are ready to tile almost immediately. It's a great product to work with. It's easy to work with. It's a little bit pricey, but if it fits in your budget, 100% you should use it. Just realized I had some left over here. This is a piece of the roll. It's got the mesh on the bottom, got all these squares. When you roll it out, mortar this down, smooth down, and you tile on top of this, and your tile will not move or crack. When it comes to putting down tiles, we like to use leveling clips. Typically, this is the ones that we use. The tile, for example, this kind of demonstrates how these levelers work. This little piece would sit in between the two tiles, giving you your space, and when this wedge goes in, the feet on the bottom work against this wedge, and it makes these nice and flush with each other. And you'd use these pliers to squeeze the wedge through, and the next day you can come in and use a rubber mallet or your boot, and these will just snap off and you're left with a flush tile. These clips aren't meant to level your tile. You have to level yourself with a level, but they will keep your joints uniform. This is another style leveling clip. You can drop these in and turn the T so it locks underneath the tile. Tighten down this plastic piece and it works against that metal tooth at the bottom and brings your tiles in place. And then when your mortar's dry, you can actually loosen this off a bit, turn this and pull these back out, and these ones are reusable. Where these ones, once you break this piece, it's gone, but you could reuse these wedges as many times as you want. I think we prefer these ones because they give you the automatic spacing and the wedge system is nice. Even though these things are completely reusable, you still have to use a lot of these typical X spacers, because the spacing, these things don't give you an automatic spacing because that thin little piece of metal that holds this down. Where these, you could buy these in different widths to give you the spacing you want. Now I want to show you a bit of a lifesaver when it comes to trim and finish work. This is called Instant Bond. We get this from Home Depot. It is a simple CA glue with a activator. Any CA, this is just like any other typical super glue that you can get from anywhere, the dollar store or whatever. But this activator is what makes this key to what we're doing. It allows you to glue your miters and glue small parts in place almost instantly. You can hold the pieces together and this stuff activates in about 10 seconds. For example, for the trim work for this condo, we used, this is a 1x5 MDF. It is 4.5 inches tall, just over half an inch thick. And we used it for the baseboards all around the house. And this stuff is perfect. Give you guys a quick example here. I'm gonna take a bit of glue on there. I'm gonna spray, this is the other piece. I'm gonna spray the activator on there. Press it down on my piece. Hold it for about 10 seconds. And this is glued together. If you have a super glue at home, baking soda also works to activate this almost instantly. If you have two pieces that you need to put together right away, you could put the glue in between them, hold them together, and sprinkle a little baking soda on it, and it will activate this as well. But the beautiful thing about it is great for doing your outside miters. On your MDF, you can pre-make your outside miters, and it gives you this nice crisp line that's easy to fill. You can sand. It also worked great for our crown molding. This is just a test piece I made. Same styrofoam crown molding. You can pre-make some small parts and glue them together with a bit of mud and sanding. That miter will look perfect when it's up there. The other thing about working in condos like this is they have these metal prefabbed door frames that are relatively thin. So when you do your baseboard and you butt it up against it, this is actually thicker than the casing. And the thing about MDF is when you cut it, it leaves you with this rough edge that doesn't take paint well. So what I did, I mitered my pieces down so the finished edge continues all the way on the sides, and then I can sand this flush, fill it a little bit, and all the sides have that primer finish on it. This is one way to do it. The other way to do it is to do like a vertical return like this. So when your piece, let's say for example this is the casing of the door and it's shallower, you still have this finished piece that's primed. Same with the other direction, the way I did it. You have that finished white edge here as opposed to having the exposed MDF. This will accept paint a lot better than this. Since this condo building is all concrete and steel studs, all the baseboards were put on with a few shorter brads and that Sika construction adhesive I like to use on the walls, told in place, and then all my miter joints were done with the Instant Bond. Another great reason for using squared stocked MDF. One, it's kind of a simple modern look, it's easy to do, and with the Instant Bond you can make your outside corners look pretty decent. But the other thing that's great is all your inside quarters, you don't even have to miter, because once you butt one into the next one, you have a nice joint there. For the bathroom in the front hallway there, we used the extra tile we had left over to do a baseboard that matched the same height as our 4.5 MDF. Where living room trim ends, the tile baseboard begins, and that wraps around the bathroom. In the front hallway, including the closet, is a 4.5 inch tile matched baseboard. We just did the aluminum edger on top of that, grouted and caulked it all in place, so that when you bring in your wet boots and stuff, both the wet zones have a nice tile baseboard. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Please hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and consider subscribing. Next episode, we're gonna tackle the subway tile in the bathtub. We're gonna do a vertical brick pattern, so don't miss that. We're gonna install quartz countertops, build a custom step, and do the glass backsplash. We're gonna paint this whole place. I'm gonna pull all this paper up. Client's gonna move in. I'm gonna do a final walkthrough. Subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for watching. Almost forgot. Inspector's coming next week to look at this building. Hopefully we get a pass and we can run some electrical in this shop. And I can stop running on the extension cord. Catch you in the next one.